Friends vs. Friends is probably the most underrated game I've ever played, but what makes this game so good? You could start with a vibrant cel-shaded art style, or maybe it's a fast-paced combat mixing the exciting gunplay of an arena shooter with the deep strategy of a card game. But to me, it's all about making your friends rage quit by running a card that makes you go big and round. I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you. All of those are true, but what makes this truly special is the level of care put into every single aspect of the game. It is a labor of love through and through, and that's why it's such a shame that the game never really got the attention it deserved. On the surface, Friends vs. Friends seems like a pretty standard arena shooter. Eat, sleep, click on heads, repeat. But that's not all. Each round you're dealt multiple cards. This is where the magic happens. Cards can give you weapons, turn you into an ice block, or reverse the time back to 2005. Down, 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 circle, circle, X, L1, R1. You now have a big head, buddy. What you gonna do about it, huh?
That was cool, huh?
This elevates the game from an okay arena shooter to an absolute masterpiece. Suddenly it's not just about raw mechanical skill, but also a battle of wits with countless different options to outplay your opponent. You have to adapt not only to your own hand, but also to what your opponent is throwing down. This keeps the game interesting even after hours of play, because you never know what's gonna happen. Or to put it in really simple terms, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! But instead of trying to decipher the entirety of Moby Dick printed on a single card, you can just shoot your opponent in the head. Matches are also best of 5s, with you being able to retain the cards in your hand in between rounds, making resource management an important part of the game. Yes, you could probably finish that guy off if you just throw all your cards at him, but that would leave you at a pretty severe disadvantage in the next round. All of this comes together to create this incredibly addicting gameplay loop. But don't just take my word for it. Pretty much every person I convinced to play this game said the exact same thing. Holy shit, why is this game so good? Also, dude, is this a furry game or something? Let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, the game is popular with the furry community for obvious reasons, but don't let that distract you from how cool some of these characters are. The game features 15 of them, each with their own ability, voice lines, and tag on furaffinity.net. Sadly, this will probably scare some people off, but you're really doing yourself a disservice skipping the game just because it features anthropomorphic animals. Look, I have grown as a man. No longer will I be hating on furries for validation by terminally online strangers. That doesn't mean I won't be making fun of them. It's objectively funny to spend thousands of dollars to cosplay as an animal, but if that's what gives you a little bit of happiness in a world that seems to get grayer and grayer every single day, you know what? Go for it. Also, I'm an anthropomorphic frog online, so something glasshouse. Given that I am a big frog, you would think I would also gravitate towards the frog character, but no, I'm more of a moose guy. The moose starts each game with a double jump, which has a bunch of different advantages, but to be honest, I just like clicking the spacebar. It's like a little fidget toy. You unlock most of the characters by just playing the game. Yes, I know, that's a crazy concept in 2024, but there's also a secret character which requires such a convoluted setup that 20 years ago it definitely would have been a playground rumor. This right here is peak gaming. Like, I can't even make a stupid joke about this. It's just really cool. He also unlocks new skins with different abilities after every 10 matches you play, which just adds even more layers to the playground rumor. While we are on the topic of abilities, each character has their own unique ability. Some of them are more general, like the dog having a slightly higher base HP or the cat doing a bit more gun damage, but others are more specific, like the tiger starting each round with a katana or whatever the fuck is going on here. Especially for these characters, it makes sense to build a dedicated deck, which, speaking of deck, the game follows the universal deck building formula. You throw cards together that sound cool, play the deck, and then realize that Gas Station Yaya may have caused permanent damage to your prefrontal cortex. Start again and slightly improve the hot garbage you made until after countless iterations, you finally reach card game nirvana and realize it doesn't matter if the deck is good. The only thing that matters is if it's fun. There are almost 100 different cards, ranging from simple buffs like health up or faster reload, to breaking your enemy's legs or even nuking the entire map. Actually, you can do that multiple times, and each time you get a new unique map as well, just pure cinema. Some other favorites of mine include the landmine, my beloved, because it allows you to pull off stuff like this. No way, that worked again. Shrinking Spell makes you tiny, Titan makes you big, Teleport Bomb, great for flanking enemies or getting out of a sticky situation, Parlay, because my hips don't lie. Guys, break it up, break it up, break it up, no fighting. No fighting.
Okay, thank you.
Got my clown shit.
They also like Clown Shoes. It's supposed to give you an advantage by making your opponent's footsteps louder and by extent making it easier for you to pinpoint their location. But honestly, I just play it because it's incredibly obnoxious. It's really hard to think when every single step you take sounds like this. Not every card is a banger, but you will easily find enough of them to fill out your deck. Surprisingly, deck building is actually super close to an actual card game. You try to set up your own win conditions while also having cards that deny your opponent their win cons. A big part of this is synergies, cards that work great together. An easy one could be the Bear Trap and the Molotov, or Predator Vision and Piercing Bullets, but my favorite is Bomb Lover and Lottery. Lottery is a super interesting card that gives you 5 random cards with the caveat that you only have a low chance to draw something actually useful and not just literal garbage. Bomb Lover makes it so every single card you play also throws a bomb. Yes, this applies to garbage as well. I think you see where this is going. You know what time it is?
Bomb time?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Get down! Jesus Christ!
There's so many.
Of course, this wouldn't be a card game if it didn't feature the true TCG experience. I'm talking about gambling, baby! To acquire new cards, you will have to buy card packs from the in-game store. This is where a corporate vulture would give you the option to be a good little pay pick and skip the grind for a small fee. Fuck that! This is Friends vs. Friends, bitch! We earn our achievements in this motherfucker. Better take your sensitive ass back to mainstream slop. There are no microtransactions for power. Instead, you earn money by playing the game. Opening up packs does not only give you a chance to acquire new cards, but also lets you level up cards you already own. I'm kinda split on this. It does add more progression to the game and makes opening up packs worth your time even after acquiring most of the cards, but it also further increases the gap between the new players and the Steve Ballmer type gamers. Also, not all cards level up equally. Some of them just receive a 3% buff, while others, like extra cards, turn from okay to literally part of greed, which has been banned in competitive play for 19 consecutive years with absolutely zero chance of being unbanned anytime soon. But while extra cards may be one of the best cards to level up, it isn't my favorite. That spot goes to Clown Shoes, which, I'm not making this up, just gets louder, making it even more obnoxious than it already is. Look, it's 3 AM and I cannot for the life of me think of a proper transition to the next topic, so given my track record, I feel like I cannot talk about a game without at least mentioning its hub area. Friends vs. Friends has a small but sweet little town square with a diner, a laundromat and a shooting range hidden behind a restroom. You know, your typical American strip mall. You can edit your deck at the card table, buy new packs from the shop, or get quests from a friendly lady in the diner. You can also just access all of these things through the menu. This shouldn't be a big thing, but if you look at titles like Darktide that 2 years after release still forces you to walk to every single vendor, apart from the cash shop of course, I do appreciate the convenience. Another thing I appreciate is the fan art gallery. There's just an entire building full of different works from a community. Some of them are gorgeous, some a bit too big and round for my taste, and some are just really stupid, but all of them clearly come from a place of love for the game and its characters, and I think it's nice to honor that by putting them into the game itself.
Parkour! 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 Parkour!
Parkour! Great if you like me suffer from the terminal illness that is WoW brain. Apparently this was also patched in after launch, and the announcement trailer is just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. This is not edited, by the way. The only thing I'm kinda disappointed by is that I cannot see my friends. Look, we have a full party of 4 and yet they deny me my IHOP family feast. This feels like such a missed opportunity, especially that given the nature of the game, you will have downtime in between rounds where people buy new cards and tweak their decks. I imagine that having friends in the hub area was originally planned, but ended up on the chopping block for some reason. What supports this theory is that you can wave by pressing left click, which doesn't really serve any purpose. But while we're on the topic of unfortunate things, Let's talk about the biggest caveat and also the reason why I made this video in the first place. The player base is pretty small, like a daily peak of around 250 players small. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, this sucks. But even though the player base is small, queue times are surprisingly fast. And that's because Friends vs. Friends is doing something very clever when it comes to matchmaking. It cheats. See, trying to do skill-based matchmaking with an average of 200 players is a really bad idea if you want them to actually play the game and not just parkour around the hub area. So the game just embraces that fact and randomly matches you with all kinds of players. That means you will eventually run into Steve Ballmer. This is where a special system kicks in to somewhat balance the match. The game has a bunch of different buff cards, health up, speed up, helmets and many more. Now, if the game detects a big difference in skill level between opponents, it randomly plays some of these to somewhat buff the less skilled player. This system isn't perfect. The buffs range between game-winning and barely noticeable, but it is at least something and definitely a really interesting solution for a problem a lot of PvP games eventually run into. Of course, I would prefer proper skill-based matchmaking, and that's the reason why I made this video. I want you to play this game. Yes, this is not just some light second monitor entertainment or something to put on while you're falling asleep. Wake the fuck up. This is a call to action. Go buy the game now. It regularly goes on sale for about $3. I repeat, $3. Editor's note. It's me, I'm the editor. The Steam winter sale has just started, so the game should be on sale right now. I don't even want to focus on the price too much, because I'm not a big fan of breaking down the game's worth to a dollar to hour ratio. I think that given the same price, a well-crafted 4 to 8 hour experience is infinitely better than a 60-hour slog of a game. I also think it's a pretty worthless metric to compare games. Like, you can play thousands of hours of League for free if you don't account for the price of therapy, that is. But is that really better than spending 10 hours with a game you really enjoy? That being said, $3 for 5, 10, potentially hundreds of hours of high quality entertainment is insane. It genuinely feels criminal getting this experience for almost nothing. If you do want to support the devs more, you can buy one of the DLCs. These are purely cosmetic and do not add any cards, characters or player power. Think the Deep Rock Galactic supporter packs. I know that a player count of 200 doesn't sound super enticing, but don't let that scare you away from playing the game. You can have hours of fun queuing 1v1 or 2v2 against your friends. You don't even need to worry about matchmaking. But even if you decide to jump into it, it's not nearly as bad as it may sound. I already lost Battery to the unstoppable passage of time. I don't want to go through this again. So take this video as my attempt to keep this game alive for just a little longer. Not just for me, but also so other people get to have the same experience. I want to end this video by saying thank you to the people at Brainwash Gang. After my last video, I've been struggling a lot with creative burnout. It felt like I'd not only lost my passion to create things, but at times even creativity itself. I spent hours spitballing video ideas, playing different games and writing scripts, but nothing ever really felt right. But then the game just hit me at the right time and gave me something to be passionate about again. Now I'm more eager to create things than I've been in a long time, and I think you can feel it in this video. Look, I don't think you intended your silly little card game shooter to be the cure for someone's writer's block, but that's what art is all about, baby. You don't get to choose what people will take from it, and I think there is beauty in that. So yeah, 10 out of 10, made me upload to my YouTube channel, go buy it.